Okay, you should just know that we don't do this a lot, so this is like a really huge deal.
We want to invite you to have lunch with us every day for the rest of the week.
Oh, it's okay. Coolness. So we'll see you tomorrow. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. Pink.
Hello and welcome everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at a keyboard that has been a love-and-hate relationship. And that's why it's inspired by the movie Mean Girls. This is a build that a lot of people, I think, try to get to sound good, to try to feel good, try to just build and enjoy. Now what I'm talking about today is the GMMK Pro. Now this is a board that on its exterior is beautiful. It's marketed as this wonderful, glorious thing. And on its inside, it's just insecure. It doesn't know what it is. It wants to be a gasket mount board, but it has no flex. It wants to have the presentation of a premium board, but just doesn't have the sound profile to deliver that premium experience. And this is why I very much feel like this right here is a mean girl. So today what we're going to do is we are going to attempt to get the most out of this. I've built this several different times with several different configurations and I've never been truly happy with it. But after more and more exposure to different types of techniques, I want to try to bring something out of this that I can daily drive on occasion and put it on my desk and just truly enjoy it. So let's set this aside and take a look at what we're going to be utilizing today. First off, we're going to be utilizing these strawberry switches. These are KTT Strawberry Switches. They are full polycarbonate. And they are, there we go, they are long pole linears. And they have a pinkish transparent housing. The nice thing about these is that they come pre-lubed, and if I recall correctly, these are about 63 grams, but they come pre-lubed with a nice, generous helping of lubrication on them that would allow for most people to simply use them stock. So they come highly recommended in the communities that I hang out in, and I'm looking forward to using these. They typically sound better, in my opinion, on an aluminum plate, but we're going to try to make them sound a little deeper than what I would normally get on a clacky build. So we're going to go for kind of a deep clack if we can. Now I also have some keycaps here that I want to use that I picked up a while back. These are the Akko pink, or excuse me, black and pink cherry profile dancer keycaps. I picked these up a while back. I did throw these on this board with starfishes, and they didn't sound amazing. So these are the legends on these. They're pretty decent. I mean, these are pretty nice keycaps. I mean, Akko makes some pretty good keycaps. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen pictures of the aesthetic before. And we're going to recreate that aesthetic, but with a better sound, hopefully. So these are my screws to put it together. Now how we're going to achieve that sound profile, hopefully, and hopefully not mute it too much, was with this. So we're going to try a couple different things. We've got stupid fish foam that we're going to use inside the case. And that is, it's going to mute it a bit, but hopefully not mute it too much. And then we've got the accompanying stupid fish. There you go. So we've got the stupid fish plate foam as well. And so this will do the initial dampening, and then this will give additional dampening below. And then we're going to use a piece of pre-cut PE foam to attempt to bring up the volume and deliver that, you know, that marbly sound that I enjoy in a keyboard. So we're going to see how this goes, and then we're going to also potentially experiment with some tape mod today to try to get that sound. So going back to the board here, this is a GMMK Pro black version that has had the top replaced with their pink, and then we've got black knob somewhere in our keycaps. I guess I didn't think that one out too well. There it is. So we've got the black knob to utilize with that, and it gives it a very nice contrasting look. So we'll have this black and pink look with some pink accents. They don't exactly match, but they kind of give, you know, that flavor, if you will. Our knob, pink switches, and then let's take a look at how we're building today. So we've already got all of our gaskets and everything pre-installed in the top here. And then we've got a PC plate that we're going to be using without any standoff. So that is going to be our biggest challenge today, is getting this to work with the PCB and no standoffs to try to give it, I mean, it's not going to really gain any level of flex, but we're going to do our best to try to accomplish something, anything, maybe. And especially once we put the foam in it, again, it's not a concern of flex, it's more of utilizing the PC plate for the typically lower pitch sounds that we get with PC. And inside here we've got some sort of kind of pre-tuned stabilizers. Probably need to finish tuning those. I honestly can't remember what these are. These appear to be, I am not sure. I think they're just standard Durox. And then, as you can see, we've done nothing special to the bottom of the housing here. So why don't we go ahead and start assembling the PCB and its associated foams, and then we will see how that sounds. So first thing we're going to do is put our PE foam sheet on, followed by our nice sheet of EVA plate foam. And I am noticing that in this kit I do not have the inserts here, so I'll have to find something there if it's too loud or too hollow. Okay. Now, since we're not using screws, we got to make sure that we're getting these side diffusers on there, because there's these, I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's like these diffusers on the side that are not screwed in, they're just on with some double-sided tape in this case. And we want to make sure that they are working appropriately or aligning appropriately with the foam. Alright, so we got that together. So why don't we go ahead and dump our switches. And what I would like to do in this case, so we've got it nice and flat on the table, is I want to go around and I want to, because we've got PE foam and plate foam, which tend to fight each other and raise it up quite a bit, I want to go around to all the corners and see if we can get those corners to stay down. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, so I just lifted there to make sure they are making contact. So the switches do seem to be making contact. There's no bowing or anything like that I can see right now. So that's a good start. So let's go ahead and make our rounds. And I'll be doing this a little bit different again, since this is kind of thick. We're going to do the entire perimeter and then we'll start working row by row. So let's go ahead and do that. And there we go. That came out pretty nice. Those are pretty easy to get together. I did notice the oils that were used have kind of creeped out onto the outside of the switches or up the stems or something, because there's a residue on my hands. But, I mean, this seems mostly good. I think we are having some contact issues, but I'm hoping that once we sandwich everything together inside the case, we're going to have a lot better contact. Because there is certainly a little bit of lift, but they're still touching the sockets. So let's go ahead and give that a shot and pull out some keycaps and see what we can come up with. And again, it is very loose, so I would recommend using standoffs. If you're going to use a PC plate, probably use standoffs. Alright. So we're going to connect our JST connector here. And we've got our foam here, which I goofed because we do have to get it through the little hole here. All right. And you got to be very careful again, because this wants to, you can see here, it just wants to slide out. So we shall see if after screwing this down, it's what we're looking for. Then we get our top on here. Yeah, I think once we get it sandwiched together, it will be in a good place. So we've got our screws here. We use our good old-fashioned, our good and reliable screwdriver kit here. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna go all the way around, I don't think. I think I'm gonna put the corners in, and that way we know where we're at as far as sound. Okay. All right, we're getting the last one in here. So yeah, so like when we put it together, obviously with the amount of foam that we've installed in it, and the fact that the GMK notoriously has very thin gaskets, it's really meant to be a noise isolation thing rather than the flex that we normally see. But what is nice about PC is it does seem that there's a little bit of flex per key, but you really got to press on it. So I don't know if that's a win or not. Keep this out because we're definitely going to need to do some tuning, I think. So let's go ahead and top it with some keycaps and see if we like the sound. I'm kind of liking it so far. It definitely beats the way it sounded before, though. All right, let's go ahead and get these caps on. We're going to do the whole thing. Then I'll kind of test it a little bit to see what I like in terms of the sound. And then if we need to tape it, we'll tape it. But so far, I think it's coming out pretty good. So let's get to it. All right, there you have it. I actually have to say I'm pretty happy with this outcome for what it is. The space bar is a bit hollow. I don't have any extra foams right now though to handle that, so I'll have to get back to that. But yeah, I think overall it sounds much better than it did with the Starfish. I'm very happy with these. The nice thing about these switches too is they do work well with north-facing boards because they are that long pull stem. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, let's go ahead and screw her back together all the way. And then we'll do a typing test. And then we'll do a wrap up. All right, so let's go ahead and do that typing test, and then we'll come back and talk about what our final thoughts are and kind of discuss what we want to do next. All right, like I said, I'm pretty happy with how this sounds. I think we might want to toss a layer of tape on the back, but I think I kind of want to drive this a little bit as is and see what I think, because while it is a little bit on the muted side, it's not overly muted, and those long pull stems seem to, they definitely help with that. But other than the space bar and maybe one layer of tape, I think this sounds, some of these keys sound really nice and deep clack. So, and that's really where I like to be. So I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are, what you think. If you have a GMMK Pro, what would you do differently? What did you do differently? What do you think about your GMMK Pro? Is it really truly this love-hate relationship that people have with it? When I'm in the community, I see people all the time just, it's a great board, it's a wonderful board, it's never steered me wrong. And then on the flip side, you hear people talking about how they have problems with inputs and things like that. This one has been flashed with QMK, and I haven't had any issues. The polling rates are great, and no repeat key presses or anything like that in the times that I actually have driven it. So, I don't have any issues with this. I think this is really, truly a great beginner keyboard, especially when you can pick them up for fairly cheap, and then you have these added features of being able to customize the top. I mean, we get this beautiful two-tone look by doing that with the pink on the black. Yeah, their colors aren't the greatest. They don't really match up with much because they are these kind of off tones because they are anodized. It's not, an e-coat. But it's still, I think this still looks quite pretty. It doesn't look great on camera because most angles it looks silver, but it's definitely a nice pink contrast. Let's see if we can move this a little bit to give it. But yeah, you can see you know, if I got some warmer tones in here, you can see the pink, and in person, I think it's quite beautiful. But yeah, we're going to take a look at some more 75% boards in the future. We are starting to get to the point where I've done just about everything I have in my collection. I think I have 4 or 5 more boards to check out in the 75%. And in the meantime, I might like to try out some other ones. I've got a Zoom 65 coming in. I've got a QK65 Blue Golden coming in. And you guys seem to enjoy the QK65 build that I did with the black chroma, so maybe we'll revisit that too and maybe try a little something different. Maybe experiment without the foams because it's got a different plate too. So anyway, let me know what you guys would like to see. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Most of the people who view these videos are not subscribed, about 92% of you guys. So if you could do that for me, I'd appreciate that. And I just, again, want to thank you all for hanging out with me while we do a chill build. I hope you liked the way this came out, and if not, just let me know. If you did, holler in the comments. But until next time, y'all have a good one.